Good morning to you all. Good morning. Leaving my current home of Cincinnati, I simply cannot state enough how much of an honor it is to be welcomed back home to Trinity and to receive this honor. It's amazing how just having the opportunity to stand within these four walls again and feel and remember this environment of academic rigor, commitment to service, the friendships, the love, and empowerment, which all bring back so many memories that have become such an integral part of molding me into the person I am today. As I thought about what I wanted to share, both the triumphs and the challenges I have confronted over time, it reminded me of the power of this environment over my life and the path I continue to travel. I've always been interested in the world of science. That curiosity soon transformed into a fascination with medicine, exploring access to healthcare and the bonds of the human spirit overall. See, my family came from modest beginnings, but I was blessed with parents who were educators themselves, who believed in that human spirit and commitment to service. We didn't have much, but with the grants that they were awarded, they served our neighborhood by establishing the West Austin Community Center in the 1980s and early 90s on the west side of Chicago, where I grew up most of my childhood until moving to the suburbs. Despite the troubles of the neighborhood with gangs and the frequent robberies that occurred within our community center, which also provided a home one level upstairs, my parents were still determined to unite broken families, allowing access to teach English as a second language and providing referrals of employment opportunities. That fire in them also ignited a light in me towards service. Additionally, the passion for medicine and access to it reminded me of my own days where our family had limited access to health insurance. And it was understood by all of us that we must be careful how we play because there was no room to go to the emergency department. I saw the dire need to have just one health clinic in the neighborhood, believing in something that was non-existent and seemed to be considered more of a luxury. The lack of access bothered me, commencing my search for more to make a difference when it came to health and well-being. My path had and continues to have twists and turns, as fortunately I was able to obtain a scholarship to attend Trinity and pursue the International Baccalaureate program. Now, with my older sister graduating a year prior to my start, I remember worrying just how important it was for me to create my own path and identity. It was within these four walls that my faith grew despite the circumstances surrounding me. I delved into that academic rigor, truly blessed by the wisdom from all of the teachers, the staff, and the members of campus ministry here on a daily basis. While focusing on my studies, I also treasured finding my gifts through leadership, music, and service, while developing precious friendships with the young ladies, now beautiful women, alongside me during my high school career. It became a special place where teachers and staff were invested in you, creating a place of family, empowering you as a young, capable woman, and pushing you to reach your potential, whether or not you realized it at the time, to believe in yourself and the power you have to make a difference. It was also during that time that both of my parents were laid off just prior to my enrollment, with them ultimately needing to go back to Africa to work to help with the finances. With unforeseen events, by the summer ending my sophomore year, I no longer had a place to live and had to make the decision of whether I would move back with my parents back in Africa or find a way to continue my studies here at Trinity. Through all the discussions and lots of prayer, I decided at that time that I would have more opportunities completing my career at Trinity simply by the experiences God had taken me through already. It remains one of the most difficult decisions I have made, but even through the trial of being separated from my parents, the family of Trinity pulled through as I stayed within a family the Dean knew, who are still a wonderful blessing in my life. That journey continued beyond my days of Trinity, and the gifts and invaluable lessons that I learned stayed with me. I moved out west to matriculate at Stanford University, majoring in human biology, and still pursuing my love for leadership, music, and community service as well. I returned back to Chicago to University of Illinois Chicago College of Medicine to earn my medical degree, where I also ultimately met my now husband. And yes, we were really studying. He became another positive influence to continue my pursuit, combating healthcare disparities as I helped to create Chicago-wide health fairs consisting of various free health screenings as a medical student. I ultimately trained at Boston University Medical Center, learning and treating a wide array of medical problems within a diverse patient population in internal medicine. Patients who taught me the lessons of life each and every day. At the end of that residency, I felt empowered as the chairman, program director, and leadership asked me to stay on an additional year to serve and complete the administrative and educator role as one of the chief residents. It was then at that time that reaffirmed my love to serve as a leader, an educator, and mentor, encouraging those with their triumphs and uplifting those who struggled. As we learned from each other, we became equipped with the armament to pursue and serve our patients with passion. Galatians 5:22 reminds me of the gifts from the Holy Spirit that we seek and that are so key to remember as a physician and educator, which I felt God was calling me to follow, being that the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Since 2012, I transitioned into developing my career as a budding supervisory role known as an attending physician and a mentor at Georgetown University Hospital and now University of Cincinnati Medical Center. I've been praying, just as I did during my time here at Trinity, that His grace would allow me to be a positive force and voice to those in need. I sought to do more and have seen Him continue to create my path, all with additionally being blessed over the years with the expansion of our family with 3 wonderful children. Whether it be appointed chair of the competency committee for trainees reviewing their performance and offering guidance, whether it be designing conferences for medical updates or fostering an initiative for trainees to move beyond the hospital 4 walls and do community outreach, providing free health screenings throughout the city on a monthly basis, or whether it is serving as a teacher at the children's ministry at my church, God continues to call me to fulfill His purpose for me. Furthermore, His blessings have humbly enabled me to speak on the prevention of physician burnouts and health on the national level, as well as being named a BizWoman headliner, selected among women awardees among 43 different cities who made headlines within 2018. Consequently, it was the very faith that people had in me to succeed and realize this dream back then that helped me to give me the confidence, the courage, and the strength within His grace to share my experiences, to find the leadership role, and humbly mentor my peers and trainees until this day. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once stated, "If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving." Within this beautiful quote, there is the undeniable truth that the road you travel is one that will not always be easy and celebratory, confronting obstacles along the way. However, during those challenges, I pray that you muster the courage, the strength, and the determination needed to overcome. Don't give up. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And this is an important point that I'm going to say again. We are reminded in Psalm 139 that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. This is so important. Don't let disappointment, trials, self-deprecation, insecurity, and prejudgment deny you from the path you were destined to travel, to have, and to hold by His grace. When you have fallen, find your support and rise up and try again. You all have been given amazing gifts, some not yet realized, and I pray that Trinity will be a safe place for you that is ready to allow you to grow, to make those mistakes, to overcome, and to soar as it was for me and my peers. Lastly, in honor of National Women's Month, as you continue to find your way, remember the saying of Maya Angelou, "Do your best until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. Remember your strengths. Work on the needs for improvement. Be open and seek feedback frequently. Be kind, and don't forget to learn from and help others, not only here, but beyond. Soar, young Trinity women, and remember that you will have this Trinity alumna from Cincinnati rooting for you each and every step of the way. Thank you for this moment, and God bless you all.